Yes, you can hear me now. We are about to get started. Gisomnia, guys. Gisomnia. It's good to have everyone here. I'm always excited to do this. What's up? I see you in the comments. I see you in the comments. Let's quickly get everyone else to come join us in here. Get to tell them in the dev chat and in the dev support channel. One second, let me get everyone else in here and then we will jump right in. Gisomnia, everyone. It's a delight to be here with you. If this is your first time joining us, it's always an exciting time for the Somnia Dev Hangouts. This is the opportunity where you get to have conversations about the challenges you are facing as a dev building on top of Somnia, and I'm here in real time to help you debug issues and answer all of your questions. So if this is your first time being here, welcome. I'd like to know what location you are joining in from. So please, in the comment section, just let me know where it is that you are joining in from, what country that you are joining in from, and then get to let everyone else know that we are live. We are live. Korea in the building. Drum rolls. I am extra hyped today, everyone. That is because I'm excited about the new updates coming onto Somnia. So if you knew those updates as well, I'm very, very sure that you'll be also hyped as well. So kindly let me know. Oh, Jisomnia from Vietnam. Som Dudu. Good to have you guys in here. Amazing projects, amazing developers coming out from Vietnamese community. It's always a delight to see people from the ecosystem joining us on this course. So just posting updates for folks to come join us in here, and then we will jump right in. Awesome. Good to have you. Gisomnia, Niger in the building. La Lutz, I'm always hyped. Good to have you guys here. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Awesome. Get everyone to come join us and we will jump right into the session. So we're going to be out of here under the hour, and then we are going to close it out with a gaming session where you get to earn Somnia points. So you know what those translate to. So if I were you, I would stay to the very end of the session. And then we're going to have a couple of two code sessions to understand how to verify smart contracts on Somnia, which we touched on 2 weeks ago, just like to touch base there before going into interacting with native tokens on Somnia, because a lot of developers have reached out that they didn't know how to interact with native tokens on Somnia. So we're just going to touch base there and then close out the session with the Kahoot where you get to earn Somnia points. So please do well to stay to the very end of the session. Awesome. You can go on Twitter, let everyone know that we're here and we are live. So jumping right into it, for those who do not know me, my name is Emmanuel. I am in charge of all things developer relations here at Somnia. That means I'm in charge of all things documentation. I have noticed a lot of people from the APAC region jumping into our docs, learning how to build. Please, if you find any improvements that you want to make, any suggestions you want to make to the doc content, kindly let me know. And I am always here on Discord to provide support to developers. We have a special role for developers that are deploying on top of Somnia. If you have been building applications and deploying on Somnia and you need that role, kindly reach out to me and I would review the project that you're working on, and then you get to get that role. I'm in charge of all developer programs here at Somnia, and you can always chat with me about your projects. So today we are just going to keep it short and simple. We are going to be taking a look at two critical things that are very important for developers building on top of Somnia, and that is smart contract verification and also using native ESTT. So why is smart contract verification important on top of Somnia? So smart contract verification, it's a way for developers who build projects to prove to the public that their projects are not rogue projects, right? We have had a lot of incidents in the Web3 ecosystem where projects get to deploy, and because their smart contracts are not publicly available, it is impossible for people who want to interact with that smart contract to know if those smart contracts can be trusted, and then for them to be able to interact with those smart contracts. Quickly, before we go through how you as a developer can verify your smart contracts, I just want to show to you how for the general public you can find verified smart contracts on top of Somnia. So I'm going to share. So what you're looking at, it's the Shannon Explorer, right? So this is the Shannon Explorer on top of Somnia, where you can find all information about your transactions, state changes, and also carry out read operations. So when you come to the blockchain tab, you would find a sub tab called the verified contracts tab. So on the verified contract tabs, you would be able to find all smart contracts that have been publicly verified by developers building on top of Somnia. So when a developer, when there's a particular smart contract that you want to carry out transactions with, and you do not trust the developer, you can further guarantee your faith in the project by going into the smart contract, the details of the smart contract when it's made publicly available. As you can see here, this is a deployed token smart contract called Penguins. I've not interacted with this before, but I'm just here reviewing it and taking a look at it, right? So for a user, what you want to do first when you come here is to make sure that the contract has this verified tag. You have to make sure that the contract has this verified icon, right? So with this verified icon, you would be able to trust that this smart contract has been verified. And then you can connect your wallet to see all the read and write functions available on this smart contract. So given that you are not a developer, you can scroll through each of these operations to really see what exactly is this smart contract requiring of me as a user. Do I trust this smart contract? Is this safe for me to connect my wallet to this smart contract? As you can see, this is just a simple token contract where you can call all ERC 20 token available functions. allowance, check the balance, see the number of decimal places. This is a read operation, so it returns 18. Check the name of the token, it's Pengu Penguins, see the owner contract that deployed it. You can also go ahead and verify if this address has been tagged as a ROG address in the blockchain space, the symbol, and then the total supply of Pengu Penguins available. And then, of course, you want to also see all the rights methods available. And then this will help you to understand, can I trust these smart contracts to interact with it? So this information is also important for you as a user, right? So this is not just for developers. And then for developers, you can further dive deeper into the contract code itself, right? See the constructor arguments at time as it was when it was deployed, and directly dive into the smart contract to see if there are any tiny arguments embedded within the functions that would drain your wallet when you interact with a smart contract. So this is very, very important for developers building on top of Somnia. And then having understood that, the next conversation is, how do I verify my smart contracts on Somnia as a developer? So currently right now, for hear me, my yes, awesome. Thank you so much. Apologies for that breaking transmission. Needed to change my screen and I clicked on the wrong button. So moving on, still very hyped to have you guys in here. As I was saying, verifying smart contracts. So right now, it's you cannot verify smart contracts via the Shannon Explorer interface, right? And then you can also currently not verify smart contracts using Foundry. So the way you can verify smart contracts right now is by using the hard hat verify tool, right? That is the hard hat verify tool. So with the hard hat verify tool, you can verify your smart contracts on top of Somnia. So the hard hat verify tool is already installed when you set up your project. Talk you through what a code base looks like, where you would update your hard hat config file to be able to verify smart contracts on top of Somnia. Yes, I'm glad to be back to you guys. Sorry for that break in transmission. We are still. Okay. I'm going to show you the hard hat config now and then walk you through how you can verify your smart contracts. So I need you to pay attention, right? Because it's this is very, very important because you want users to trust your projects and then be able to independently verify that it is not a ROG project. Say maybe you're building an NFT collection or any other thing that you want to build on top of Somnia. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, the hard hat config file. confirm that you can still see my screen. I want to share my. Okay, second. Let me stop streaming that screen and then go to the right screen share. Okay, yes, I think I have that up now. Awesome. I have the right screen up now. Thank you for being so patient. Like I said, we're going to be out of here at the top of the hour. So zoom in so that you have better visibility. So what you are looking at here, it's a simple ERC 20 contract, right? That has been deployed on top of Somnia. So this contract has already been deployed and already verified. So for developers, when you want to verify your smart contract, what you want to do is to update your hardhat.config file, right? Your hardhat.config file. So typically in your hardhat.config file, after building your project and you deploy on Somnia, all that is basically required is for you to update the network information. You update the network information by passing in 2 arguments for the Somnia, for the network that you want to deploy to, which is the Somnia network. So you pass in the URL, which is the ROPC URL, dream-ropc.somnia.network, and you want to pass in the private key from a wallet that has STT tokens that you want to use to deploy this particular smart contract. So that deploys your smart contract, right? And then verifying your smart contract for using Hardhat, you have to pass in this series of arguments, right? You have to pass in this series of arguments. The Sourcify, an API from Etherscan, and then you have to set the particular chain. So what you want to do is to set Sourcify, to disable Sourcify because it's a Boolean. So this is not a truthy state, this is a falsy state. You have to go to Etherscan in the Etherscan Explorer and get an API key, which we pass as an argument to the Somnia key here. Then you have to set up the Somnia chain because it's not yet default available on Etherscan. So you want to identify the network name, the chain ID, and more importantly, you want to pass in a series of URL paths, which are the API URL and the browser URL. So this content is already available in our documentation. You can go to how to deploy and verify smart contracts on Somnia, and you will find that content in the Somnia documentation. To drop that link in the docs in the chat here so that for those who have not yet taken a look at it, you'd be able to get to see that content and then start verifying your smart contracts. If you've already deployed smart contracts in the past, right, you can also leverage on the resource and then learn how to verify smart contracts on Somnia. Awesome. So that is that about verifying smart contracts. And you just want to run a simple command when you want to like verify smart contracts, right? So this is the argument verifying smart contracts. So you can see it in my terminal. It says npx hardhat verify. You pass in the network flag, and then you pass in the network flag. When you pass in the network flag, you are able to set the network, call the network information that you want to verify to. You pass in the smart contract address for the particular smart contract that you want verified. And then if there are any arguments, you pass in those arguments as well. So again, I have shared the guide. For those who missed it, you can check the charts and you would find the guide in the docs. It's a comprehensive guide. So if you have verified smart contracts in the past, you can do well and just simply, if you have deployed smart contracts in the past, you can take an extra step and also verify those smart contracts. So this is the guide in the docs. You can just follow it along. If you've already verified a smart contract before, you can just simply scroll all the way down if you have deployed a smart contract before to the verify section and then update your hardhat.config.js file. After doing that, you run the command, and after running the command, you can go to the Explorer. Here you would find the information about your verified contract, and also users can trust your contract. So that's that for verifying smart contracts. The other thing that we are going to be talking about today, going back to our presentation, would be how to use native STT on Somnia. So before talking to you about how to use native STT on Somnia, I'm going to quickly share on why that is important, right? Because a couple of developers have reached out in the community asking the question that what is the contract address for STT? What is the contract address for STT? I've had a couple of developers reach out to ask that question, that what is the contract address for STT? So yes, I'm here with you guys. I'm just trying to change my screen to, okay, yes, moving on. Using native STT and ERC20 tokens, right? We've talked about smart contract verification, and then next thing we're going to be talking about is how to use native STT, right? So why is this important? Why is it important to understand how to use native STT? So this is important because, like I mentioned, a couple of developers have reached out asking what is the smart contract for STT. That is for developers that want to build swapping protocols, right? So just like ETH is to Ethereum, that is ETH is to Ethereum, that is how STT is to Sonia. ETH is the native token for the Ethereum network, which means if you want to carry out transfers from a wallet A to B, all you just have to do, it's called transfer, right? And that transfers the tokens from wallet A to wallet B. So you would not have to approve a particular smart contract for you to be able to carry out that transaction when you are building on the Ethereum network. So same thing, when you're building on the Somnia network, the Somnia network is EVM compatible. That means a lot of the AIPs available on the Ethereum is natively available on top of Somnia. So that way, as a developer, when you want to carry out a transaction using on top of Somnia, you do not have to write there's no smart contract for STT. All you just have to do is call transfer. So I'm going to illustrate this using a tiny project that I have built on top of Remix already before this session. And then we are going to deploy that project together. And I'm going to demonstrate how you do not have to call approve like you would for traditional ERC20 tokens, and how you would not have to call transfer from, right? And passing, the contract to another contract. So what you're looking at is, okay, this is for, hold on one second. Okay, there we are. So this is a smart contract, right? Please, I hope my screen is visible enough. Please let me know in the comments. And yes, if you have any questions, please leave those questions in the chat. Before the end of every session, I usually scroll up through the messages to see all of the questions and I answer them in real time. And if I have also missed your questions on Discord, kindly bring them to my attention in this session and I'll be able to answer them in real time. So having said that, right, let's take a look at this smart contract. It's a very short smart contract. It is an STT shop. So what this smart contract does is that it wants to be able to receive tokens from anybody that wants to buy an item from this shop, but they want to buy that item using STT. So they are not buying that item using some other ERC20 token, maybe a stable coin like USDT, or the Penguins coin that we saw earlier, which I just found on the list of verified smart contracts, or any other ERC20 compatible token, right? This particular smart contract makes use of STT. So you can see from the variables already declared that we have an owner. Let me zoom in. I hope that you can still see. Okay, yes, I think this is more visible. You can see we have a couple of variables already declared. This is an owner who is the owner of the smart contract. Then we have an item price. So this is what you should be cognizant of, right? The one ether here also refers to one STT. The one ether here also refers to one STT, and it is in 18 decimal places. So this will be 1 by 18 zeros if you were to write this in Wei. So we are also keeping a count of the items sold. So basically, we have just four functions here. One is for the smart contract itself to be able to receive STT, right? It uses the receive method. And then when it receives STT, it emits an event where it says received STT emits that we have the sender of the particular amount of STT tokens. And you can see for these, we use the message.value field. We use the message.value field to indicate the amount of STT tokens that we want to send to this particular smart contract. But if it were traditional ERC20 smart token contract, we would use the transfer and then we would add two fields. We would have the total field and then we'll have a value field. So the other functions are the ability to buy an item. All we just have to do is increase the count of an item, right? When we call this, and then we have the function for the owner of the smart contract to withdraw all the STT in the contract. What the part that is important here is that you can see that we use just the transfer method, right, to transfer the total balance to the owner. So the owner is able to call transfer. The owner does not need to call transfer from. And of course, we want to see the contract balance. So I'm going to deploy this, right? Inject my MetaMask. So I'm going to deploy that particular contract. Going to trigger my MetaMask, which is it has already done. Approve that transaction. Once that transaction is approved, I have my smart contract here. So with this smart contract, right, when I want to buy an item, this is the price of the item. The price of the item here, like I said, is 1 ether. But 1 ether is the same as 1 STT. And it is to 18 decimal places, which is why you have 1, and then you have 18 zeros. So if I were to call the buy item, I'll just copy this so that I don't have to like make a mistake when I'm typing out the values. I would pass it into message.sender, right? This is message.sender, and then call. Before that, let me just show you the contract balance. Currently, the contract balance is 0, right? And just so that you see that this has already been deployed to the Somnia network, I'm going to show it to you on channel. We just deployed this smart contract together. So this is the smart contract on Somnia. It is currently not verified. If I had want to verify it, I would, if I want to verify it, I would go do that via Hardhat, right? So this, sorry, no, that's the deployer address. The smart contract, this is the contract that was just created, right? This is the contract that I just created. You can see that the balance is also 0 STT here. So I'm going to buy an item, pass the value to the message.value field, and then call buy item, which is a write operation. So it's going to trigger my wallet to approve that transaction. So confirm the transaction. Transaction is pending over here. Now transaction is confirmed. Then if you check the contract balance, you see that it has increased by 1 STT, right? Let's see if this would quickly update as well on the Explorer, refresh that page. And of course, our balance here has also been increased by 1 STT. So for this particular smart contract, it is holding a balance of 1 STT. I did not have to call approve, neither did I have to call transfer from. To illustrate the difference between this and using ERC20 tokens, right, I am going to walk you through another example. And if you require any refresher course on this, I'm going to be uploading 2 videos on YouTube and also a third video on how to verify smart contracts. And while we are here at it, I'm just going to introduce you to Somnia Network YouTube. If you are yet to subscribe, please, oh, sorry, my mistake. I didn't get that URL right. Please kindly go to YouTube and verify and follow us on YouTube as well. So while that is coming up, just to quickly walk you through. Yes. Again, just to quickly walk you through about what we are talking about here, verifying smart contracts and also using native STT. So STT does not have, again, STT does not have a smart contract address. You use STT just how you use native it. So subscribe to the YouTube. I'm dropping it in the chat. So subscribe to the YouTube channel where you find all our videos. So moving on, the next thing that I want to share with you is how to interact with ERC20 tokens, right? So this smart contract uses native ESTT. Native STT. That smart contract uses native STT. right? That smart contract uses native STT. So it receives native STT into the smart contract. So there is no smart contract address for native STT. For this other example here, which is an IT shop, it is still a shop where users can come and buy items. But for this particular shop, we use a particular deployed token to pay for items in this shop. We do not pay with native. We do not pay with native STT for this particular shop. Like I said, if you have any questions, kindly ask those questions and I would answer them before the end of today's session. And of course, you can also ask your questions in the dev chat and dev support channels and also on X. So for this smart contract, right, I'm just going to be going back and forth. You notice that for this smart contract, all we just have to do is call the receive method in the smart contract to be able to receive tokens. And then we just pay into the smart contract by passing our argument, value argument, into the message.value field. So then again, stay to the end of this session, of today's session, and we always have a Kahoot session to test our knowledge, and you get to stand a chance to win prizes, to win Somnia points for participating in those Kahoot sessions. So we have a list of all our previous winners from the very beginning to this point. So kindly stay with us to the very end. So this is the Sonia shop, right? As against just calling the receive method, here we would have to call the transfer from method, right? And we would also call the transfer and then have to specify the address that we are transferring to and then the amount that we are transferring to. This is because for an ERC20 token, there are a couple of base arguments. We have a transfer argument, a transfer method that takes in two arguments. You have to indicate who the recipient is and then the amount. And then we have an approve that we need to call that will approve another smart contract to spend the tokens of this smart contract on behalf of a user. So the approve takes into argument the spender, which is the smart contract, and then an amount. But of course, the approve has to call the allowance, which is an ERC20 token method that allows another user to spend on behalf of the owner of the tokens, right? That is the owner of the tokens being the message or sender, and then the spender being the contract. So you would find that the approve function is here on its own, right? So we call approve inside of transfer. We call allowance inside of approve and inside of transfer from as well. So plus other, methods that are available, mint born. So this video will be live on YouTube. Kindly subscribe to the channel to get a chance to watch it afterwards. There's an interface for a certain number of methods that we are going to call in the smart contract. So then again, we are going to do this in real time and walk through it together. So first of all, I'm going to deploy the ERC20 token. I'm going to call this token Somnia Dev token, right? Somnia Dev token. I'm going to call it SDV, and then it will have 18 decimal places. So let's deploy the Somnia Dev token. So prompts us to approve it in MetaMask, confirm this transaction. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, in the chat, and then I'm going to answer them. So this token has been approved, right? I'm just going to mint, let's mint some of this token to this current address, right? And then we are going to meet 100 of that tokens. Since it's to 18 decimal places and I don't want to make any mistakes, I'm just going to copy this. So means 100 of those tokens, add 2 more zeros. But before that, let's check the balance of this address. The balance is 0, so we'll call mint, which is a write operation. So it's going to prompt us to approve it on MetaMask. Confirm. It's pending. Once that is successfully confirmed, which is it is now, we'll check the balance again, right? And we'll discover that we now have 100 of the SDB tokens. So we have 100 of the SDB tokens. The next thing that we want to do is to deploy the ERC20 token shop with the SDB. Be able to use the particular ERC20 token in the shop, right? We need to copy the contract address of the deployed token, paste it in here, right? We call it the SDB token, but in my previous example, I call it the game token address, which is what you see there. So I'm going to also deploy this. It's going to prompt me to approve the transaction on MetaMask. Confirm. So one that is confirmed and that is deployed. So now we have the shop here as well. And then again with this shop, we want to be able to buy an item and withdraw from the balance. What that is the owner. But before that, let's get the contract balance, right? Which is 0, number of items sold, which is 0. So now I want to buy an item from the shop. So, but in this example, right, I have already set the item price to be 100 of the Somnia developer tokens. So typically you would want to have an input field where you can put in the price. But for this, I have like already assigned it to the item price variable, which we call here inside the buy item function. So what is important here in the buy item function is that we are going to call the game token, which we deployed, which we passed to this smart contract when we are deploying it, right? So it's going to call the game token contract address and then call the transfer from method, which is an ERC20 token method, right? So in case you don't remember, the transfer from takes in 3 arguments. The transfer from takes in 3 arguments, right? A sender argument, a recipient argument, and then an amount. So here in the shop, the sender is whoever it is that owns an amount of SDB tokens. The address of this means the address of this particular smart contract, and of course the item price, which is 100. So I'm going to remember the contract balance is 0. I'm going to click on buy an item because I already have 100 of those tokens. Okay, let me confirm that I actually have up to 100 of those tokens. If not, I'm going to just mint some more. Add one more 0 there, just mint some more. So approve that. Fine. So I didn't have enough of the balance. Okay. Oh, okay. I think that's an ROPC error currently right now. And this is happening in real time. I'm grateful this is happening in real time. But then again, that is how you basically interact with native SCT and then also interact with ERC20 tokens. So that said, okay, let me just see if this will go through right now. Buy item. Oh, still not going through. Why is that? Let's see the. Okay, let's compare that those addresses are correct. Yes, it's the same address, AX79. Item price. Yes, that's the item price. Okay, let me just mint this amount of SDV tokens to the address balance. Okay, just this third try, third time is a charm anyways. So let's try this one more time because we have to come to the end of today's session and hope the demo gods are here. And then let's see if we are able to buy an item. Oh, okay. It's still erroring out. That is interesting. Okay. But anyways, the you can find this example in the tutorial on YouTube much later, and then you can get to build it out on your own. So I'm going to try and debug this in real time in the next 60 seconds and see why there is an error. See by item. Okay. Okay. It's erroring out. Really, I don't see any error right now or anything. Oh, okay. Yes, my mistake, guys. So, like I said earlier, with ERC20 tokens, you have to first of all approve the smart contract that you want spending the token before you are able to actually spend the tokens on behalf of the user. So my error was not, first of all, coming here to approve this smart contract to spend that amount of tokens on my behalf. So I'm going to approve it now, and then I'm going to enable it to be able to spend just the amount of the item price on behalf of the particular wallet address. So this is principally the difference between using native STT and then using ERC20. So I call approve, right? Prompt me on MetaMask. I'm going to approve the spend. So once that is verified, I am now going to be able to buy an item. So it's going to prompt me on MetaMask to buy the item. Now it doesn't return any errors, and I can confirm. And of course, once that is verified, the contract balance is currently 0, as you can see. So now get contract balance, and it returns the 100 Somnia developer tokens. So thank you very much for staying with me and being patient. Thank you for staying to the very end. So with that, we have come to the end of this session. And then for those who have been with us for the very beginning, that we have our session feedback, and then we have our Kahoot sessions. So I'm going to share the session feedback form. Please, I need you to fill that form, give me your honest feedback onto this session, and then we'll come back and close out with our Kahoot session. So feedback. Kindly fill the feedback form that I just pasted in the chats, and then we'll come back and close our Kahoot session. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes to fill that feedback form. And while you are filling that feedback form, this is a very warm reminder that if you are building a project on top of Somnia, we have a special role for developers who are building on top of Somnia. So kindly submit your projects, right? And I will give you that role. And then again, with that role, you have an opportunity to earn points, right? So kindly fill the form. Kindly fill the feedback form, and then we'll end our session with a Kahoot game, right? So, okay.